She had been trying to pretend she was strong for months, but that morning, as she stood at the entrance of the cafe with her crutches slipping slightly against her palms and her prosthetic leg aching from the cold, everything inside her felt like it was shattering. The world around her moved so normally, parents laughing with their kids, friends sipping coffee, people scrolling through their phones, but she felt like a broken piece in a picture-perfect puzzle. And when the girl noticed there were no empty seats left except the one near a man and his 2 children, her heart began to pound. She hated the feeling of being stared at, of being pitted, of being treated like an inconvenience. But she also had nowhere else to sit. She swallowed hard, fighting the lump rising in her throat, and whispered the words that felt heavier than her crutches. "Can I sit here? If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the beauty of strangers helping strangers, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support truly helps stories like this reach more people." Her name was Lena Harper, a 24-year-old former track athlete whose life had changed in a single, catastrophic moment one rainy night, a car accident that took her leg, her career, her confidence, and what she believed at the time, her worth. She had spent months learning to walk again, forcing herself through pain most people would never experience and pretending every day that losing her mobility hadn't also stolen her dreams. Her friends slowly drifted away, not because they were cruel, but because they didn't know how to stay. Her boyfriend left, saying he couldn't handle the stress. And Lena, once a girl who ran faster than the wind, now avoided being seen in public at all. That morning was one of the rare days she pushed herself outside. She had promised her physical therapist she'd try, but the second she opened the cafe door, she felt dozens of eyes flick toward her, then scramble to look away. She kept her gaze down, her ponytail falling forward, hoping nobody noticed how her hands trembled on the crutches. Every step felt like lifting a mountain. Across the room, Ethan Miller, a single father, watched her quietly while his daughter, Amelia, sat on his lap and his son, Lucas, played with his fingers on the table. Ethan wasn't staring out of judgment, he simply recognized a certain kind of pain. He had seen it in the mirror for years. Losing his wife to cancer 2 years earlier had left a scar inside him that people couldn't see. He often took his kids out for simple breakfasts to remind them that the world still held little moments of warmth and normalcy. But when he saw Lena standing alone, hesitating, he felt something tug inside his chest. Lena almost turned around and left. There was one single empty chair near Ethan's table, but she didn't want to intrude. She didn't want to face polite smiles or awkward silence. Yet her leg ached badly, and she knew she couldn't stand much longer. Gathering every piece of courage she had left, she limped toward them, her heart pounding so loudly she swore the whole cafe could hear it. She tried to force her voice to sound steady, but it came out soft and fragile as she asked if she could sit. Ethan looked up, and in that single moment, Lena braced herself for rejection, for that subtle tightening of the face people sometimes made when her disability made them uncomfortable. But what she saw instead was something she hadn't felt from a stranger in a long time, genuine warmth. He moved his hand in a gentle, welcoming gesture, and without hesitation, offered the chair with a kindness so natural it stunned her. Lena lowered herself into the seat with visible effort, expecting the moment to end there, just a seat in a crowded cafe, but what followed slowly unraveled her heart. Amelia, the little girl with curly hair and curious eyes, kept stealing glances at Lena's prosthetic leg. Not with fear or judgment, but with childlike fascination. Children didn't know how to be cruel, they only knew how to be honest. After some minutes, she reached out her tiny hand toward the sleek black metal. Lena froze, unsure how the father would react, but Ethan simply nodded encouragingly, silently telling her it was okay to let the child's innocence guide the moment. It was the first time in months that someone hadn't flinched or tried to shield their child from her. Lena felt something shift. Something loosen. Something soften. Ethan asked if she was all right, and though the story wasn't told through dialogue, it was shared in fragments, spoken through slow breaths, lingering looks, and the heaviness sitting between two strangers who understood loss in different forms. She didn't tell him everything, just enough for him to see the truth, that she was tired, that she was lonely, that the world felt different now and she didn't know how to fit into it anymore. Ethan listened with the kind of attentiveness that was rare. He didn't look away, he didn't pretend to understand what he didn't, and he didn't overload her with sympathy. Instead, he offered small, steadying presence, like a quiet lighthouse guiding a ship through a rough night. His kids softened the air around them. Lucas eventually smiled at her, Amelia leaned her head sleepily on her father's shoulder, and Lena realized she wasn't being stared at anymore, she was simply being seen. For the first time in a long while, she didn't feel like the broken thing in the room. She felt like a person again. As the minutes turned into an hour, something remarkable happened inside her. She laughed, quietly at first, then with real emotion. And that sound, that simple, fragile laugh, made Ethan smile in a way he hadn't since his wife passed. Two people who had been walking through different storms suddenly found themselves sharing the same shelter. When Lena finally stood up to leave, Ethan gently asked if she came to the cafe often, and she admitted she rarely left her apartment these days. He hesitated for a moment, then told her that he and the kids usually came on Saturdays, and that she was welcome to join them anytime, even if just to sit for a moment when the world felt heavy. That offer, simple, genuine, spoken without pressure or pity, broke her. Tears filled her eyes faster than she could blink them away. Not sad tears. Healing ones. The kind that come when a stranger's kindness touches a place inside you that you thought had gone numb forever. Before leaving, Lena looked at Ethan and whispered something he would remember for years. "Thank you for seeing me." That day became the first step of a new chapter for her. A chapter where she wasn't defined by what she had lost, but by what she still carried inside her, a quiet, powerful strength. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes in the goodness of people. Your support truly means the world. Please comment below, have you ever received kindness from a stranger at a moment you needed it most? And so, Lena walked out of the cafe not just on a prosthetic leg, but on hope, steady, trembling, beautiful hope, realizing for the first time that healing doesn't always come from doctors or therapists. Sometimes it comes from a table full of strangers who make you feel human again.